All right, everybody, we'll get started here. If you guys want to raise your hand if you have a question, and then I'll call on you and you can unmute yourself and then go ahead and ask your question. So, Coach, if you're ready, we can get started. You there?
Can you hear me now? I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good. No worries. Yep, I got you.
Okay, great. Look, Houston's a great destination for us. It's our largest LSU alumni base outside of the state of Louisiana. So, a big recruiting area for our program. We love the venue in which we'll be playing NRG. I think this is our third appearance in the Texas Bowl. I remember, just being named the head coach. I watched the 2021 Texas Bowl versus Kansas State from the press box. But this is a great opportunity for our team, to continue to build on the late season success. I also want to congratulate Baylor and certainly Dave Aranda and the success that they've had at Baylor this season. I think they've won 6 in a row, playing as well as anybody in the country. So, familiar with Dave, great football coach. He was part of the LSU championship team. So, a lot of familiarity here and should make for a great game between two teams that are looking to continue momentum going into 2025.
All right, guys, go ahead and raise your hand if you have a question. Anybody have a question? Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, Coach, Jerry Hill from Baylor Bear Insider. Just your thoughts on what you've seen from Baylor, particularly this last stretch where they've won 6 in a row.
Yeah, efficiency on offense. I think Sawyer Robertson has been really, really good. They're really balanced on the offensive side of the ball. Anytime you're rushing the ball as well as they have, I think they're averaging, north of 175 yards per game. It sets up their ability to run play action. They mix it up really well. I think Jake's done a really good job of, getting the ball out on the perimeter, running the football with consistency. And again, I mean, you look at the efficiency on offense. I think that's kind of what stands out. And then, it's like anything else, defensively, trying to eliminate big plays. They've done a nice job, the past couple of months on the defensive side.
We'll go to Glenn and then Michael and then Wilson.
Yeah, hey Coach. Good morning. Just wondering what kind of conversations maybe you've had with some of the seniors, guys that are, moving on or going to the draft about kind of about playing in this bowl game and just kind of what participation you're expecting, I guess, from some of the older veteran guys in this bowl game.
Yeah, we'll have some of the veterans that will play, and some have certainly made a decision that it's in their best interest not to play in the game. And we try to provide as much information as, and I think we're pretty detailed and I think pretty transparent in terms of what we think is best for each one of our players. And then, they meet with their agents and their family members and make the best decision. Here's what I know. The guys that will be fielding for this team will be 100% committed to getting a positive outcome. They'll be playing because they want to be playing. And that's really the most important thing, right? I mean, that you have a group of players that want to play for LSU and want to play to the standard. And so, yeah, we're going to have some guys that were playing against Oklahoma that won't be playing. And that's their choice. And we support them 100%. But we'll also have some guys certainly that feel like it's in their best interest to play in this game, whether it's leading into a declaration for the draft, or it's leading into coming back, or it's leading into, going into the Senior Bowl or something to that effect. So again, we're going to have a team that's committed to getting the best positive outcome in this game.
Hey Brian, good morning. Yeah, to that effect, the last time y'all were in this bowl game, I think you were upstairs watching Brad field a team that had a wide receiver playing quarterback. So
Yes.
how much have you talked to Garrett, and how much can you share, or are you willing to share, I guess, about where that process is with him, and your expectations for the quarterback position for this bowl game?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're going to have some, announcements on that here very shortly, where I think everybody's going to clearly know, where we are moving forward. We won't have a walk-on at quarterback, I can guarantee you that. So that will be a better place. Although that young man played extremely well, I can remember, given the circumstances of that game in 2021. But I think all those decisions are coming up here. We have our first practice tomorrow, and I think we get a chance to meet with the media here on Friday, and I think we'll have a lot more information for everybody relative to what the roster looks like.
Go ahead, Wilson.
Okay, thank you. Brian, Will Campbell, it seems like he may have been played this last game. He's up for an award tonight and with the Lombardi. And just curious, when you look back over his 3-year career, what effect do you think he had on your program as you got started?
Well, he allowed us to really hit the ground running, a stabilizing influence. When you can put a freshman at left tackle, and then in consecutive years win 10 games, we're 17-7 over his 3-year stint in the SEC. That's third best in the SEC to Georgia and Alabama. I think that says a lot. To take a true freshman to come in and stabilize a program that, again, we'll go back to what 2021 looked like with, 38, 39 scholarship players. That's a remarkable feat. And he was part of that and stabilizing the program, allowing us to build and continue to build the program as we still competed in the SEC and competed at a pretty high level with the kind of record that I've already mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm back in the rotation or if anybody else raised their hand. I didn't see. Brian, how much can you talk about the portal activity that you're able to experience and hosting guys, and what does this week look like for you on that front, and how well or what kind of challenges are you facing?
I was at Gino's, Juban's, and Ruth Chris last night. So I had 3 dinners last night. I'll have 2 to 3 more dinners tonight. It's the busiest that I think I can ever remember in terms of activity. There's a lot going on. It's a very busy time. As you can imagine, we're working on retaining players. We're dealing with the transfer portal. We're dealing with practices, and you can imagine it's quite busy. Our focus right now is, we'll practice tomorrow, but the transfer portal, as I've mentioned, is extremely important to us in building our roster. So that is a prime focus for us right now.
We'll go to Zach, and then we'll go to Jerry.
Appreciate you doing this, Coach. This is Zach Smith. I'm with the Waco Trib. So you mentioned Coach Aranda had plenty of success in Baton Rouge, and I'm just curious, what's your relationship with Coach Aranda, and does he still have a good reputation in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, he is thought of in a very positive manner. I think his personality, how he treated people. He left here with certainly he left on a high note, right? I mean, they won a national championship, but the way he treated people, look, in everything we do in life, it's how you leave, right? And I think the feelings that many people that I have run into feel as though he's a man of character, integrity, class, and that seems to resonate anytime his name is brought up. So, and he's a really good defensive coordinator. I mean, that helps, right? I mean, those two things, your work and then away from work, people talk in positive terms about Dave.
Coach, this is Jerry Hill again. Just a question about you went through that 3-game losing streak. What did it take for you guys to kind of bounce back and get things going again? How big was that, considering you were top 10 in the college football playoffs until that losing streak, for you guys to finish like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's recognizing, what are the things that are causing you not to get the positive outcomes. And as we looked at it more carefully, it really was about a more focused attention to the details. And in 3 of the games in this year, we had the lead or led in the fourth quarter. And so, we really just focused on how we practiced late in our practice sessions, that we needed to have a more focused execution of our practice and needed to carry that over. And so it was really just going back to our process and saying, look, these are the things we need to do. We need to finish. And I think that's what we saw in the Vanderbilt game, and certainly in the Oklahoma game, that we finished the right way. And that's why we had the kind of outcomes we did.
We'll go to Glenn, Michael, and then Wilson.
Hey, Coach. A lot of the players that have entered the portal from your team are backups and even deep backups. But how surprised are you at some of the guys that starters like Daniels, maybe Pimpton could have been a starter, and are you re-recruiting those guys that are in the portal? Some of them.
Yeah, I think the portal every year, I think there's always going to be one that, in your estimation, it just doesn't add up, right? I mean, the facts, the information, the things that lead to somebody going into the portal. I think you can look at, the body of work and say, let's help these guys find a spot, right? But I want these guys to end up where they can contribute, where they can help teams, and that's what I want to do for maybe 13 out of the 15 guys. There were a couple there that just didn't add up to us, but that's what happens when you have unlimited transfers, and sometimes those things happen, and you just have to continue to move forward and look to restock your roster based upon a couple of those. And that's kind of how we have to move forward each and every year now.
And what would you recommend at those 3 dinner spots, and were there a salad or appetizer at some of those too?
Yeah, I mean, look, you have to be able to get your team ready, and if you have to make some adjustments in terms of what you do with your scheme, then you make those adjustments, and we're prepared to do so. We're our offense is about the players, not the plays. And so, if we don't have a particular player, we get rid of that play, and we highlight the players within the scheme. So we'll just do it a little bit differently, but we'll still be able to get the job done.
Brian, I think after your Oklahoma Monday presser, there was probably oversimplification from a lot of us, myself included, saying that you had adjusted your stance on the portal, or your approach towards the portal. How would you characterize that, or what have you learned, I guess, in the last couple of years that's maybe helping you pivot or redirect your attention and dollars, honestly, in the portal?
Yeah, I would agree. It wasn't a pivot. It was to say that if you want to be successful in major college football, you have to be supported financially now, in the portal. And it was really just a call to arms that this is part of the development of a program. We developed our program in one element with the foundation of freshmen. We have a strong freshman developmental program, and now it's time to add to it. And the only way that you can add to it is that if you have a strong commitment financially. That's where we're at now. That's the reality. And so it was just clearly stating that that's where we are. And if LSU wants to continue to be, part of that conversation, we just need to realize where we're at. And I think our fan base did. They responded quickly. And we're going to have to be in that place moving forward.
We'll go to Wilson, and then we'll close with Koki Riley.
Brian, it's been a few weeks, like you said, y'all haven't practiced. Maybe there isn't a clear answer for this, but do you think Garrett Dellinger could get back for this game after his high ankle sprain?
Yeah, I mean, I think physically he'd be able to. I think he's got to make a decision, and he has not yet, whether he's going to forego playing. But Wilson, in terms of the physical, he would be cleared to play.
Hey, Coach. You just kind of mentioned it, but have you been satisfied with, I guess, the response from fans and even boosters and any of that stuff since we last spoke to you about the importance of NIL and the portal and just the importance of money in college sports?
It's been a good start. We've got a ways to go. I think we've gotten off to a pretty good start. We've had a combination of generous donors and a grassroots support that has definitely turned itself up, and I think answered the call. But we have a ways to go, and we're going to have to be vigilant. We're going to have to continue to look for more of that support and continued support. We're out there, with meetings and showing our plan and what it looks like. But it's been a good start.
And just quickly, with the portal and just how the market has worked out, whether it's you guys losing players or other teams losing players, and certain needs popping up and that maybe you didn't expect, or vice versa. Like, how has the needs on your roster changed given the way the market is shaken out really across the country?
Our needs will be our needs. The market is not, and that really, Koki, goes back to I made it clear that the market was going to be what we needed it for our team. In other words, we were not going to be put in a position that we couldn't get particular players because we were not going to be able to be competitive in the marketplace. So we were gonna take care of our needs first, and whatever that was, we were gonna have to get into the marketplace and not worry about it. Certainly, we don't want to, you know, like anybody else, we want to be able to get value. But unfortunately, you know, there's no salary cap and there's no market analysis by position yet. And, you know, you don't have certified agents that have all of that data where they can come in and give you a number that is a reasonable number. So, you know, there's back and forth here, but suffice to say that we're going to be in this marketplace and we're going to do what we need to do to fulfill the needs of putting together a roster that is able to compete and win a championship.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, I think we're all set. Thank you so much for the
Great.
time, Coach.
You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Coach.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.